Hello, everybody. We have opened up the webinar. We have people filing in, kind of giving you guys a moment to settle in. We'll give it a couple of minutes before we actually start, but excited to pick Bob's brain here. Might throw him some curveballs because this is payback for all of the stuff from Bourbon of Proof that was splashed all over the internet uh, after we recorded in New York recently. Got our title up. Let me see if I can get this here. As people kind of file in, we have the question and answer section where you guys can actually type. The actual chat is turned off right now. We'll be recording, so we'll make sure that we send you everything from this session. We've got some pretty cool giveaways that we've been promoting. And we were just shooting the shit here about summer conferences, which I tend to think have the best locations. Fall is also nice. I think you get some good places in the fall.
Yeah, go to good weather places in the fall. I mean, that's how it should be, right? It's like these are not just you got to go where you physically want to be as well. Like some of my least favorite conferences, they just throw you in a conference room in some crappy place, and it's like, why am I even here? You know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, these are destination events.
It really is, though. I've noticed that this summer around July and August just get quiet in this industry. You are much more likely to run into your buddy in Europe than you are in your hometown. And it happens. I know Seth, he'll pull up his phone sometimes, and on Facebook, he has the who's near me thing still, that feature. And it'll be like all these people when he's on vacation in the summer.
It's funny. I'm gonna send it to you right now. The event I was talking about, that one I got accepted to in Sintra
Yeah.
in July, and I know some other people that are got accepted to. I'm going to send it to you and also to Seth because I think you're saying he has a mastermind over there as well with some of the.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that's the other thing. There's like certain locations that conferences will do too, where it's Spain is pretty heavy, is what I see. Portugal's pretty heavy. Sicily's pretty heavy. I've noticed those in particular. So quite interesting. All right. This is open. People can join here.
There we
Not
go.
doing anything crazy. Andrea, this thing looks right? I clicked start webinar.
Yep, you
Not
are
using
live.
here. Yeah.
Yep, and your screen sharing. Yeah, I think we're all good. I saw my assistant came in so we can record, have all that intelligence that we need, you know?
Perfect. Perfect. Do you guys use a lot of AI bots on your calls? Is there a specific one you like or have tried out other things?
I mean, I use them on all of them so I use one called Fixer, Fyxer, and it records all my meetings, even the ones that I'm not in for all my companies, because it's running different companies. And then it gives me
Yep.
high level intelligence at the end of the week on what to do, make sure, I get a pulse of everything. And then it
Yeah.
also goes into my emails. So it digests all the information in my emails and then suggests the answer. So a lot of my emails that I send to people are either
Love
straight
that.
AI, I still have to approve them, or I'll
Yeah.
clean it up. And it's gotten so good. It talks like, well, it writes like I would talk. And then
Yeah.
they released a new feature in Fixer where I can go in and query it. And so like, I'll give you like last week, I was waiting for the general counsel of one of my companies to come up with an agreement for a vendor. We were doing a licensing deal, and we had talked about it so many times on our emails with the person we are doing the deal with, and also internally. So Fixer had all the information. So I just went into it and I said, "Hey, can you give me, looking at all the emails intelligence, can you give me, the terms of a licensing agreement most favorable for us?" And it did it. And I was like, "Wow." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay, now." And then I take that information and I drop it into like some of our other legal systems, and it was like, "Hey, AI, put together a contract, a licensing deal contract." And then it
Yeah.
did it. And like then I
Wow.
sent it to my general counsel and like, holy crap, this is really good. I was like, yeah, I just literally just dropped in the intelligence, everything we're doing, and it took me 5 minutes.
I
Five
think
minutes.
they're across the board. I've seen that all of these platforms have gotten better, but there are still some that are stand out really great. And I need to implement a couple of these things, but I guess my big question too is, you get all of these summaries from all the meetings that you don't attend, and then is it like you block time on a Friday and you're reading through this, or do you have another thing summarize the summary? How does that work?
So all the recordings and summaries are within your account. So all you have to do is I just go to the chat feature on there, say, hey, give me a pulse of all the meetings and happenings within Justice HQ this week. Okay, give me one within AttorneyShare. Give me one within the law firm. What deliverables do I have assigned to me for next week? Which ones am I behind on? And it gives you all the information. It's crazy. It's just like
Yeah,
you're just it's a chat. It's a
it's
chat.
incredible. Yeah,
But again, it's like one of those all these AI systems are catching up with each other, but it's about how you use it and make sure that it's across all your data, right? I mean,
yeah, yeah. That's the new piece. All right, we're a few minutes in here. We can start. What I'll do is I'm going to stop sharing our screen so that we can just be on our video. But we're here today to talk about everything, right? There's no limitations, kind of what's going on in the industry, shiny objects like AI. We're with Bob Simon, who, Bob, you are doing everything. You run a law firm, you've got Justice HQ, you've got AttorneyShare, you run a conference for years. And so I'm going to take these one piece at a time, kind of breaking down. I want to hear about the history of it, right? We know where you are now, but
yeah.
it's been years and some of the stuff has transitioned. So I'm going to start with Justice HQ. I was one of your, after the firm, one of your first things that you broke out into, correct? That was a little
Yeah.
bit earlier than Attorney Share and even the conference.
Yeah. What actually started before that? Well, no, the conference started before Mardi Gras started before Justice HQ, but before that, it was more the media. So we started doing our podcast, the Justice Team podcast, I think was one of the first legal podcasts out there. This was early 20 teens. So we were always doing like media in a smart, creative way. And then that dovetailed into, hey, let's put on a different type of conference where it's actually the content that people want, not just the same people saying the same stale things. Get people up there that are young innovators, doesn't matter how old you are, you don't have to pay for speaking slots, and then have really cool entertainment at the end, make it family oriented. So we start with Mardi Gras, and then 2019, it was a year or two coming to planning, but Justice HQ started as, hey, let's do a membership based system which gives consumer lawyers a leg up and we can share resources. At that point, there was shared office space and teaching people systems, and out of that bore, we opened our first physical space 2020. Now, right now we don't do physical space anymore. It's all digital, so
Mhm.
it's kind of
Yep.
it's evolved to where people need it to be. And look, it started Just HQ was $1,500 a month to get all these things. Now it's $20 a month, and the high level one's like $75 a month. There's a different vendor partnership one, but
Yeah.
with technology, you can actually prices should go down and you should have more
Yeah.
access. And that's why like on the tech side of stuff, like our tech products are so inexpensive because that's actually what it should be. And I get so frustrated with some of these other AI companies that have not only not reduced their price, but gotten more expensive. It's like, I'm not paying for your
Yeah.
overvaluations of your
Yeah.
companies.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean, in
absolutely. Or
reality.
you figuring it out. Like maybe it's more expensive now because your processes and your operations are higher, but eventually it evens out, right? And so you're covering the cost of them having to learn. But the thing I want to highlight here was you said 2019. And when we think about the evolution of the legal industry, it was really 2020 when everybody had to sit at home that all these groups started coming out, these masterminds, and they started as little internet groups, right? Or webinars, but you were ahead of that curve. And kind of what I've seen in the trends of a lot of what you do with the different companies that you run is thinking outside the box. And so you started this Justice HQ community in California, and it was really just for the local community lawyers, right? At
Correct.
at what point was it, then we go through COVID and you've probably built that out a little bit more digitally, which was great. It gave you the opportunity to do that. But at what point did you start to say, okay, well, maybe this should be more nationally based? How do I expand this? What
It,
did
I
what did
mean,
that
this
look
it was COVID. I mean, with that 2020 hit, and we were set up very well for it. And people thought we were just HQ was just like a WeWork, and it wasn't. We had everybody digitally set up for to practice anywhere,
like?
and we had an influx of people come in, and then we had so much want and need for people outside of California. that we then started designing a product that was national so that people could do it from everywhere. And, it takes a little trial and error to figure out what people want, where they want it, how they want it. But eventually, we nailed the product to a point where you can log into JusticeHQ and you can see every industry event. You can see everybody on the platform. You can chat with them directly. Vendors are in there. So I'm a big believer of embracing vendors in the space because they're thought leaders rather than these other bar associations and groups and masterminds, which push them out. I think
Mhm.
it's the reverse. You can go in there's all the on-demand education. Like I'm sure we can get this episode to live live within there so people can go in and watch it on demand and have the transcript there to give people that access and touch point, right away. But it really was COVID. I mean, like I'm a trial lawyer, courtrooms are closed. I was used to going to
Mhm.
trial 5 to 7 times a year. And then it was zero in 2020 and 2021. We couldn't get into a courtroom. So then I started doing I did a weekly talk show that I had people. I remember I had Ted Lieu on, who's a congressman. Like I had people that also were sitting at home. So I would just do like
Yeah.
this. I remember coming out of the pool one day with the kids because we're locked up and like jumping on my laptop for like a webinar. Hundreds and hundreds of people show up to have a talk show about like, hey, what's going on? And I just like literally pulled my hair back. I was just wearing board shorts. I put on a suit jacket and it was just like, here we go. Um, but you had to stay apart, ahead of the curve. And now it's like you crystal ball it now. And I keep telling people this, like, you have to have an automated law firm like tomorrow or start take steps for tomorrow or there's an extinction event. You have to be on top of the tort reform that's coming and coming hard or there will be an extinction event. And with all the massive money coming into the space, there's a consolidation. It's happening. Firms are being bought, sold, and they're optimizing them through MSOs. So it's just, I think it's the most exciting times for lawyers because the really innovative ones, even if you're a solo or small shop, you have the absolute ability to exceed, and to excel. So it's exciting. But again, you got to like think, where's industry going to be 2, 3, 5 years and start
Yeah.
making plans now.
Yeah, absolutely. And also see a need for what can help people out there, right? What will help streamline their operations or their processes. That's where Justice HQ broke. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what you just mentioned. One of the big trends you are seeing is there's tort reform, there's all this private equity, there's buying and selling of law firms. You do your research pretty deeply, you get involved very quickly. If you had to give a couple of tips on whether or not you should be involved in those talks, right? What do you need to do to even prepare yourself? You talk about building a law firm of the future. Give us some high level tips there on first, how do you know you're ready to even get involved in that conversation?
Is your data structured and organized? And I started doing it for a few friends on the law firm side because so many people reach out to me because where I sit. So I do like a contingency consulting for them. Just like,
Mhm.
I'll help you get your stuff structured and put you up so it's attractive for people if they want to come in for an investment or if they want to buy your law firm. There's opportunities there, but they're going to want to see, how many cases do you have? What's your average case cost? What's your average time on desk? How much cases do you have coming in? And then what's the value of all those cases? Do you have all this put away? Is it going to be, I've seen transactions where they just want to buy inventory. Here's how many cases you have. Here's the value. We'll give you X percentage of that now and in the future. That's how that is done. Some will be
Mhm.
like, all right, I want to create these MSOs, these structural organizations, put all the assets over here and we're going to give you X amount of dollars with an operator to really excel because we think you have a really good brand, we think you have a really good trajectory. That's kind of like take some cash off the table and then really grow and explode. So there's all kind of opportunity that's there, but I think it starts with having people around you be able to structure things that are put in an attractive way, and then you really got to have your systems dialed down. So all of these, for what I've seen, all of these big money players, these billion-dollar funds they want to have an autonomous law firm. They want to create an MSO that has an autonomous law firm that starts with marketing. What are you doing for marketing? How are
Yep.
you competing? And that's why I wanted to, kind of talk to you and pick your brain is like, I've been seeing like in California, from what I've heard other firms, is their cost per acquisition is going way high because everybody's putting a lot more dollars in. My
On the
firm's
pay
been
side,
going,
yes. Yep.
ours has been going much lower, 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 and lower. And people are shocked at how low our cost per acquisition is. Well, the reason is we went all in on just branded content run on social media and digital ads. And then it scores once you go over to people searching on Google or AI because you're putting so much content out there.
Yeah, yeah.
We found that people, when they're looking for us, they're looking for Bob Simon, they're looking for the justice team, they're looking for that and not just a lawyer.
Yep.
So we have a higher chance to score that case, or they'll wait for us to call or call back or whatever it is, even though we have like optimized systems. But I think that's the difference is the lawyers that think they're just going to go out there and just do the traditional media spend without putting any marketing or putting themselves out there doing content, I think are going to be paying a lot more per case. And I'd love to hear your feedback on it because this is where
Yeah.
you live and die, you know?
No, absolutely. Across, and we're up to about 400 firms that we work with currently. So data is something I look at all the time. And when we look at this, quite a few, a good percentage of our clients share their actual intake data with us. So I do get cost per case. I do get a lot of that information. I mean, I have been preaching since the beginning of time that you can't just live in one bucket, right? You can't just say, oh, I'm only going to do paid ads or traditional ads. I'm just going to do billboards. That if you're really trying to grow, you're working within all of these different buckets of marketing, right? And the most important, quite frankly, is that branding. It's getting out, it's talking to people. Social's a big deal now, just like you said, you hit the nail on the head with that is being pulled by these LLMs, these AI search platforms. It's where people are searching. More and more of our clients are telling us that they're getting cases signed because someone found them on ChatGPT or Claude or something like that, right? So you're absolutely right on that piece. For our clients, I am seeing cost per case go up if you're only doing paid ads in very competitive spaces. And you're right, in the last maybe year, there are 5 to 10 law firms in this country that are putting money nationally, right, into every market, whether they have an attorney or not. They're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars that these little guys, their budget, and even big guys in their market, right, can't compete. And so it is. The cost per case is going up on those paid ads. But what is staying pretty good or lowering is when you're casting that bigger net, when you're doing the boots on the ground, right? You go to a lot of conferences, you build that authority. Like you said, you're getting branded searches. People are looking for you. If it's referrals, referrals have always been a very nice low cost per case. Plus, it's usually a higher quality case when it's a
Yep,
referral
because they're
too.
looking for, and that's
I mean, we
and
still
that's
find
whenever and that's how we built when AttorneyShare was born. We were seeing so many referrals within Justice HQ, and to my firm, we could send a lot of cases for trial. We're like, let's just create a tracking software so that when people refer cases, it's able to track the life cycle of it, to track your deal and where the referral is. And then with all the integrations, to take it a step further and make it automated. So all of those big firms you're talking about, I see them, the ones that are using AttorneyShare, they put in an intake and it auto
Yep.
spins out the cases that they are not taking at their firm. That's not their wheelhouse. It either goes to their known co-counsel or to new opportunity, and they're doing nothing different. We literally just have a flat fee subscription. It's $1,000 a month to be able to send unlimited cases, unlimited matching, unlimited tracking, unlimited your private referral networks. And I am seeing like there's one user that I think has put in one firm has put in 20,000 cases from intake they didn't touch, and they matched. It's almost like 18, 19%. So those were cases they were not taking. And now
Yeah.
it's a huge
And they were
revenue
sitting
stream.
there.
You already
Yeah.
paid for it. So like you
Yeah.
might as well take that opportunity. But I think it's right. People just got to understand with this consolidation of the money, they're going to gobble up the marketing spend. So all that traditional media is going to be all, it's like the big five
Yes.
conferences, it's going to be all spent there. And I'm getting a lot of cases for a lot of cases against Uber right now, and I'm doing a lot of content against them because we're in a legislative fight with them here in California and nationally. So I put so much content about them against Uber. It comes from a place of education. I get so many cases off of the ground and from referrals on Uber cases. And I was just for fun the other day, I just Googled like something like Uber fight California, and my reels popped up on Instagram
Yeah.
on Google, right?
It's
Because it
on
shows
topic. It's
it's
recent.
crazy. Yep.
If you're putting up consistently, yep.
And
Yep.
but I think lawyers have to be in that mindset. And I spend a shockingly lot of time doing more of the content in digital. Like people ask me, like, how much you think that you're doing the lead gen digital? Like, how much of your time? I'm like, it's
Yeah.
probably 50%. And like we've automated all the like the law firm side and
But the
it's
question
like,
is that a waste of time? No, that's biz dev.
no,
That's the
no, it's
heart of
business.
biz dev at this point, right? When you're talking about seeing your cost per case go down, it's because you're spending the time meaningfully where it matters right now.
And
A lot of
I
people
will literally
sleep on
sit down, I'll block off time and I'll create a bunch of reels. And I'll just do it from my cell phone
it. Yeah.
and I'll time them so you can set them out in time. And I know when like my audience is most engaged because I want people to see when they start work on the East Coast and when they get up on the West Coast. So if you
Hmm.
notice a lot of my reels from all of my brands, like they'll usually pop up at about 9:30 a.m. East Coast and about 6:30 a.m. West Coast. I just found that's a sweet
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah.
And the flywheel just spins. I can see all the shares, the reshares, and it works. So for like I usually have about 3 weeks scheduled on Lottie Girl Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Sunday night's a hot time for us. Usually it's dead Friday afternoon through Saturday. People get busy, but I put content out there that's educational. It's, but it's also it's biz dev. So like if I'm educating somebody on an issue about a political issue, it's still biz dev, right? So it's like people just have to realize that you're not just throwing content out there to throw it out there. I'm not a fan of doing just a funny meme account, that's not going to create ROI for you. It's going to have eyeballs, but for what? Maybe you're going to get a sponsor on there, right?
Hmm.
Sprinkle in a funny meme here and there. But if you're just like, oh man, this is the person I got to go to that knows what's going on, they're a real trial lawyer,
Yeah,
it's
it's
sticky.
balance.
It works. And then we hook this up to like we just have an AI intake from everything that goes through our social media, like a call to action on all the things that I do. All the calls get screened with AI, goes to our closer of our firm if it's for us, hot transfer. If not, through AttorneyShare to another lawyer that's either in my private network. If there's not one that fits that criteria, it goes to the public marketplace. And we're monetizing all these cases. So it's like our ROI are like it's zero on a lot of these cases, right? And then
Yeah.
sometimes we put paid ads behind those, but like social media is free. Just put a call to action on it, at least on your profile. And look, it works. I mean, it works.
Yeah. And that's the big piece there. Social media is free. You don't have to boost things. You can just have quality content. Take some time to build up an audience, but once it's there, it's much easier to move from, hey, I've got some audience to just becoming crazy follower numbers, right? So a couple of things on what you hit on there. One last piece I wanted to talk about with the consolidation, buying law firms, things like that. Something I've gotten very interested in is you talk about marketing. There's a piece of that that's involved in this. I've noticed with some of our clients, there's many different ways to structure this, like you said, right? They might just want to buy your caseload. They might just want to have you stay on as as a name on the site. They might just want to buy your digital assets. They might want all of your employees. And so I've seen a couple of our clients go through, and our clients are buying smaller law firms, but all these different structures. And one of the things I've been asked multiple times and that I'm building out a structure for is how do you put a number of value on the digital assets? There are many ways to do that, right? Your website absolutely has a value. Your Google business profiles have a value in the locations. And what you're talking about here, your branding in general, you can track all of these things have KPIs. How often is your brand being searched? How much are you showing up for that Uber search versus any of your competitors, right? With your reels, all of that can be monetized and you can stamp a number on it, quite frankly. And I think we're very early in the stages of what that rubric looks like and how you do that and who the experts are that are addressing that value. But it's been very interesting to me, and I have helped some firms
Well,
kind of put a dollar amount on it
Well,
during.
and here's and you said the word expert so many times. I think lawyers have to realize today's day and age, you need to be an expert at something. Either you're an expert operator and come on all these systems, you're an
Mhm.
expert advertiser, you're an expert trial lawyer, an expert lawyer at what you do, because that's how hyper focused that it's going to become. And I think you're going to have this very top heavy thing where the experts are going to do very, very, very well. And if you're not a very good lawyer, you don't really care about systems, you just kind of want to plug along, it's not going to be a really good space for you. Unfortunately, in every industry is feeling that
Yeah.
right now with artificial intelligence. So massive influx of artificial intelligence with massive amounts of money from private equity, you can see where this is going,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So be prepared, be armed. And I think, again, I say it all the time, I think SOs and small firms are in a unique position to be extremely valuable.
And your data and your systems are important. The other thing you mentioned there was AttorneyShare. Most people might know what that is. You gave a good rundown of it, but one of the other things that you can put in your value assessment when you're trying to sell is not just what cases I have here on my plate, but what am I generating? What's the projection of more cases? And so talk a little bit about how an attorney share type membership or like being in that platform can help you actually see that tracking and say, okay, well, this is what I've generated in, referrals in X amount of
Yep.
time. Does that kind of help set you up for that piece as well?
Yeah, and I've seen the discussions that people want to know, what do you do with your referrals, either inbound or outbound, because all those have value. How are you tracking them? And AttorneyShare does that for you. Like there are people, you can create your free account, put cases in for free right now. It's like I can go in, I log in right now and I can see the hundreds of cases that have been referred out or referred to me. I can see the case status. I can see the projected value. That's data that most firms never even had or tracked. And by the way,
Mhm.
it's significant. And by the way, it helps you get that true valuation if you do want to exit or if you want to have investment into your firm. People forget about that. I mean, I've talked to so many law firms that I've been helping with this, and they totally didn't even bring it up. I was like, you realize you have this whole other bucket over here, which you're not even discussing. Like they had no, oh yeah, I referred these cases out. What's the status? I don't know. Do you have your referral agreement? Oh, I don't know. What's the value of that for the firm? Oh, I don't know. Well, let's get the answers to those questions and
Yeah.
you know,
Because the people without those answers are the people that the bigger firms approach and
yep.
give a lowball offer to. And the lowball offer still sounds nice, right? And so you're being almost not smart. You've done this, you've built a firm, you've done all this to this point. Why are you not leveraging what you've built properly by just knowing your numbers, right? By, bringing in the experts to tell you what are these things worth, leveraging tools that actually have data and tracking. You don't have to go do it yourself. You don't have to build it. You don't
Nope.
have to hire someone for that, but using tools like an attorney share, right? All of that goes into this is just be prepared when you have that conversation. It's so important. It's difference of
And
millions of
I mean, that's the
dollars.
point, right? It's like, why wouldn't I do see a lot of bad deals happen because either one side or the other delta just doesn't know. But when I coach a lot of these, I do a lot with, private consulting with vendors in the space and law firms. And usually my first question is like, what's your end goal? Because
Yeah.
a lot of people haven't even defined that. Well, I want to work, I want to do this, and my firm's more valuable than that. Okay, well, what do you want? Like, you define what you want, where your happiness, and let's work backwards from there, right? It's people like, I want to grow. We have a really good company. It's okay. What if somebody offered you $50 million tomorrow? Would you take it? Oh yeah, I would. Well, then there's obviously a number there, and there's
Yeah.
obviously a goal to work towards. So let's quit
Right.
thinking you're going to bang your head against the wall all day
Yeah.
and
It's
try to
funny, the
work.
person who's like really growth oriented is like, no, I could build bigger than that, right? Like, I don't have a number, which is just different people, different goals, different.
Look, you can, you wake there, there's never enough hours in the day to do what you want to do. And like you were showing me your calendar before this, right?
Yeah.
And I was
Yes.
like, don't like, I've learned to let go. I mean, I go through therapy. I do like biweekly therapy sessions just to talk about things like this. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it don't matter. Like, you don't have to check every task off, do the critical tasks, and like, I can find infinite ways to keep making money and keep doing emails and creating more content. But
What's
why?
it worth, right? What's your why and what's it worth, right?
What's your why? Yeah. So
No, absolutely. I love that. And so you also have a little side hustle of coaching people on the side, which really is probably grabbing a drink with somebody at the bar, and giving you
that's
all
my
your
dream.
knowledge, which is nice. Yes.
That's what
And
my
it's
dream is,
easy.
to like, my why is like I want to have a small hotel in Spain that's a destination where people can come out for a week at a time. I'll be the bartender. We just like talk about your law firm, your company, your issues, put you in a place to win and have it casual like that.
Oh
Like be
my
the
gosh.
sage by the sea, right? Like
And
that's
then can we
gonna
have Chrissy just do like she does like oh, now come here and do the meditation, and here's the nice products, and she could run that
you
part of
are
the hotel the best. It would be
you
a
are right on path. And Chrissy's gonna have like her
yeah,
like the art studio and be able
yeah,
to do all the wellness. She has a at Mardi Gras this year, she's gonna do not a longevity lab. So she's
okay.
going to have all the people that she's been working with to talk about things like, high-end diagnostics, peptides, analyzing your blood work, and like how you can really be the healthiest human that you can be. But that kind of stuff, right? Like
Really info.
it's
So into that. Like,
yeah.
you know, tap into first getting where I can be like, oh, it's okay and let go of things. Then I can work on longevity and being around.
Dude, I call this my year of shedding. So like
Oh, I
I've
like that. I like that.
oh yeah, we had like getting rid of the stuff that just doesn't matter. Like I've realized I help people to a fault, and it's like just sorry, I can't be doing that. There's power in saying no. Like you have
Mhm.
to have the entitlement to say you're entitled to say no. And it took me a
Yeah.
long time to get there, but you have to like,
Yes.
yep.
Or else you
How
run
you?
yourself ragged, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so on that topic too, right? We started the journey here 2019 with this community. 2020, we got into the world where we could start traveling again, especially for, in Florida and Georgia, they lived their life in 2020. But I know California was very similar to DC, Virginia. Things were just closed, right? So let's say we get past that, conferences open up again. Would you say that's about when you really hit the circuit hard, was post
Yes.
COVID, right? Where
I
you
did
were,
not go outside the California local circuit because I was busy trying cases, doing stuff on the leadership
yeah,
board. That opened up my eyes. We did the first Bourbon of Proof tour, March of 2021, coming right out of
yeah,
COVID. And we had 200 lawyers that came on the trail. And that's when I started doing the Bourbon of Proof show, doing more media because I had more time in my hands. And now, God, we're past 150 episodes already. We were in Louisville last week. I mean, you were on the show in New York, and there was 300 people that came there live, right? So we've now had
yep,
momentum. But that was March 2021. And next thing I knew, it was the circuit tour, right? And it's been very advantageous because, after that, the technology company was born and be able to make quick connections and understand the industry at a national scale, not just a local scale. But yeah, you're exactly right. And now there's too many conferences and there's too many things.
yes. So for the conferences, I think what we did at the beginning, and we're about 10 years into going to conferences. So we've seen the world be where it was just, 20 meaningful conferences to now there's about 50, and there's all these small events and masterminds and everything that's popped up. But we did the kitchen sink at first, right? We said, let's go to everything. Then we started figuring out what's the audience and what's the ROI, what's meaningful for us, and can we really put two people on a plane 40 times a year? Like that's crazy too for burnout, right? I've watched you for the first year kind of do your own events, and then you were going to some events. Then it was speaking at most events, and now it's you're in an event for a day, fly to the next one, fly to the next one. You're at that kitchen sink, I almost feel, where you are everywhere. You're speaking, you're doing all of this. What do you feel has been the biggest positive of that? Do you feel that it is best to go to everything? Is there something coming up where you're like, maybe now I need to cut back, or what's your
Well,
strategy there?
you have to go with big intent. I will try to get the list of every conference I'm going to ahead of time so I can see who I need to take meetings with and make sure the why is there. Unless there's a big opportunity for me to move something forward, it's just not gonna work. I got a family, I'd rather be home. I have a hard no on conferences that go over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, unless it's something my family can come to. And that's why we're very,
Oh, I love that.
yeah, at Mardi Gras this year, I was on a call with the team earlier today. We're doing a few big kid zone where they're not, we have the arcade there, the silent movie, but we're having a
I love
coloring book with all the kids' logos on it with the coloring content, all the vendors' logos and photography.
Oh,
Yeah, and then
yeah,
like the donut shop, and they're gonna have their Polaroid cameras, and then there's gonna be a pool party on Saturday with lifeguards. We just like hired lifeguards so that they could be there
yeah.
for the kids, and then we're doing like an archery um dunk tank and stuff. It's like, well, I wanted to create this experience. Like, if you're going to sacrifice your weekend, we want you to bring your family, right? Because we want them to be in this immersive experience. So that's usually for me. But it's got to be a big strategic why. Like, if there's been a few of my friends' conferences I would always go to, which I can't find the time with everything that's going on. Like,
Hmm.
I'm just booking one right now in mid-May where I'm going to have to go fly into Phoenix for one night, take a few big meetings, fly to Cabo the next night, speaking both conferences, speak in the morning, and then fly home. I'll be gone for like 2 nights. I'll be in Phoenix and
Yeah.
Mexico, and then back home for the weekend. But it's got to be that strategic, and that's why I like to plan my entire year out ahead of time. And look,
Hmm.
there's surprises and stuff that pop up.
Yeah.
It's
But the conferences are announced, and they definitely are. And you do speaker pitches earlier, like a lot of that can be locked in early. I guess my other question here is, as you do those, and you are trying to save nights at home. So I'm only here one day. I'm only here one day, doing it
yes.
intentionally. And you talk about this, balance of work-life integration, where they travel with you. Do you often feel that when you come home after like 2 days, two cities, 3 days, three cities, though, that you're tired? How do you deal with that? Because now you're home, but are you present?
I just do it where I'm not so tired. I mean, I don't know how else to say. Like, you gotta have
Don't
control of
make you
yourself to
you're
know,
not
like, you
tired.
gotta.
I do 3 cities and I'm not tired. That's
Yeah, it's like I was in Louisville last week, so it was I took a red eye out, and I had 2 day events. Took a red eye out, land there that 8 a.m. that morning or 6 a.m. Drive 2 hours to Louisville from Cincinnati. Started 10 a.m. to hosting the barrel pick, go all night, get in bed early, get up the next day, host the show, and then my flight was 6 a.m. the next morning. So it was like red eye out 6 a.m., but I had to be up at 2, 3 because a 2 hour drive out. I got stuck in an elevator in Louisville for 45 minutes on the way out, which is hilarious. At like 3 a.m., the fire department had to open up the doors to get me out. So that was cool. But I got home. I was home Friday morning. No, Thursday morning. Still got home Thursday morning. So I was able to pick the kids up from school, be home all weekend. You know, was I tired? Yeah, but I took some sleep gummy as soon as I walked into the airport so I could sleep on the plane 4 hours. Get your four
yeah.
hours.
You get to sleep where you get it, yeah. And
Yeah.
then, you can craft your weekend, but you do have three. You have three young ones that are active. I see you guys do all these things. So it's like, I know when you get home, you're not like, oh, we're gonna sit around, we're just gonna be in the pool, right? You're like doing things. And
We
I
do
love
we do
that.
do a chill day. One day a weekend is like we're literally just we don't leave the house all day. It's just like we'll be at the pool, we chill. Like my wife and I each give us time to get caught up. So like I can get my emails in, get a few calls in before the Monday starts. Like I think you got to do this. If you own your own companies, you can't walk into Monday without doing any work. It's just not going to be a very good day.
Yeah. So, okay, so your life hack here is one day a weekend is just a stay at home, relax, get caught up. I like that. Um, it's just having the like actually make yourself do that, right? You have to have the accountability to do that. You're like, we're not going to the birthday party, we're not doing this because there's always those invitations. But that was the power of saying no, is what you were saying. It was
I would
protect.
say no. Look, you could fit in a little kids party and stuff, but like you can't go, oh, I'm going to have a Sunday brunch and, have a few cocktails. Your day's lost, man. You're not getting work done. Is that fun? Sure. But,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, no, for sure. And I always say, like, people would say that my flight times were crazy. I would much prefer a red eye because I sleep so well on planes that's when I sleep the most. When I'm home, I'm not sleeping. So I would rather have these flights. I would rather go California and do the longer things because I do. I sleep very well. I come back, I'm like, oh, that was great.
yeah, we
Right?
were actually able to, when I flew back from Louisville, the stewardess guy, I woke up, as we're landing, he's like, Mr. Simon, I had to check to see if you were breathing. He's like, thank you for sleeping on Delta Airlines. I was like, no problem. He said, I went right to
Love it.
sleep.
I have to serve
Um,
you. It was great. Thanks for not being a
we
pain in
did,
our ass.
but I am like, if a flight's longer than like 2.5 hours, like I kind of have to do business or first class just because I need to sleep, because
Comfortable.
that's one of the,
You probably fly enough though that you don't even have to feel like, oh, I'm spending all this money. Like you're getting upgraded. You have things, I'm assuming, on
I
your
don't know, probably. I fly a lot of Southwest, it's easy.
okay, yeah. Because from where you
Um,
are, yeah.
yeah, because so I can go so
Yeah.
many places. It's a 2 hour plane ride. It's no problem.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Um, no, what other life hacks can I give you that is, I
I
think
think
just
that
being
it's
like,
funny you hear a lot about this from females, right? The female perspective of the work-life balance and how you do that, but you don't hear a lot of the men talk about it. And I do see it on your social a lot that you are very
well,
active.
well, I think here's the th people. I talked to somebody yesterday, like, well, where in the world are you right now? And I'm actually in my house because I was like, I like to keep them guessing because I'll push different like we were on a trip a while ago because like, also for safety issues, I don't want people to know when I'm traveling,
Yeah.
Um, but I think I find the people that have the happiest marriages are people that take time for their families. And I see too many lawyers feel like they have to work so hard to be in the office all the time to the detriment of their family. It's like you got to think of that differently because there's that return, it's a return on your time, right?
Mhm. Yeah. No,
So
it's
that
funny. I so have been traveling for about 9 years now, and for the majority of those years, it was about 30 conferences that I spoke at a year. So I was on the road probably close to 40 weeks, right? The youngest of the 4-year-old, I have now been home for 10 weeks, maybe 11 weeks. That is the longest I have been in my home for like straight through in 8 years. I'm usually home November and December when conference
Hmm.
stops, but that's like 7 weeks. So she turns to me and she goes, "When are you going to go to the hotel, mommy?" And I was like,
When are you
"What?"
getting out of here?
Yeah, I said, "I live here. Like, I don't need to go anywhere." But it's been an adjustment to be home that often, right? My husband is also like, "Oh, you're home a lot right now." What, like, I don't, everything's different, right? Even just sitting at a computer and getting to work and really do things and not work on planes and in between things. It has been an adjustment, but it's been great. So, that is interesting too when you're home for like so long and you haven't done that. It's definitely an adjustment. I think it is prioritizing and figuring out what's important to you. So I hear you on that. And it's you just get into the grind sometimes, right?
Yeah, and like I try to do every other week at worst for traveling, just so I'm home doing everything and present every other week, like 1 or 2 nights. But even when I'm home for a week, there's like one night a week that is date night with my wife. Like we're very like it's usually Thursdays, we went tomorrow, or we do something during the week. It's just very cognizant about that. And just I'm a planner. Like I don't know, just by like I literally know everything in my outlook. Like I know everything where I'm going to be for the rest of the year. And I just think you have to be that intentional if you're going to do the conference circuit, if you're going to doing even social media. It has to be consistent, it has to be
Mhm.
scheduled, and it has to be set out like in the future. So
No,
yeah.
I agree. So with all this travel too, I think one of the bigger pieces that I wanted to highlight was, you see a lot of trends, you see a lot of things that lawyers are falling into that are shiny objects that may be a great new thing or maybe a detriment to their law firms. I want to start with the positive here. What is one of the shiny objects that you want to call out that you're seeing right now that you think is doing well? It could be a product, it could be, just a trend, something you think is on the up and up.
So I think there's two things. One is any lawyer law firm, if you're solo, you can absolutely dominate and win intake right now. Absolutely. Like we build our own AI intake voice and chat. If you go to our website right now, you can hit call and it'll be our AI voice agent. You can chat it, but it all goes to the same back end. So we're doing everything. We're not missing any opportunity. It's so inexpensive and you could do it as a solo. And we tie that into our systems where it goes to our CRM. It also goes to our into AttorneyShare if it's not going to our firm and we're not touching it. So we've nailed that. And I think every lawyer now can do that. And I'll take it a step further. Here's the next trend is all the workflow that happens after that with agentic AI models. I talk and do a lot with all these people that build all this technology, and I think that's the consensus is they're not. I don't think AI is going to be able to. These legal AI companies can compete with Claude and the like. Like it's just not going to happen, right?
Mm.
But you can leverage your systems off your scope of work with these agentic AI models and take your data and do what they needs to be done. So after at our firm, we've been able to even do AI voice agent calls to order medical records, like those workflows. I do believe by the end of the summer, we will have the ability to, we're almost there to, as soon as the case comes in, to have all the intelligence report. We do stuff with a company called Coastal Research to get all the policy limit, financial responsibility, all the information on the plaintiff and defendant, all those things. And now we're hooking that up into like what I call the libraries, right? Whether it's Westlaw, CoCounsel, Lexis, VLEX, whatever it is, you then grab that data and you have the viability score of the case from a legal standpoint. Like we haven't even involved any humans in this discussion, right? From there, all right, it's a good case. You get the green light, you hit the button, you AI voice agents deploy to order the police report, go get the medical records, start setting up the file. Now, again, no humans involved yet. Then you get on this where you get with a client, be able to digest their story, recorded call, so it's saved on everything. Get them into help them find doctors to get their course of treatment going. And now you're using intelligence through the medical treatment to figure out, make sure, hey, we know the financial responsibility. Let's be weary of that. Let's take a look at all the cases we've had with similar injuries, make sure they're getting the best opportunity to get better, and then automations to write the demand letters and do all those workflows after that. I think by the end of the summer, that'll be done at our law firm. We'll be able to show people how we've been able to do that. And I don't think
Mm.
people need to change the systems that they're on. They're just going to have to get those agentic AI models trained off of what they're doing. But look, what a beautiful world that is. If you get a low ROI to bring in the cases, you're able to place every single case that comes in. You're able to automate all of those workflows.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, um,
And I think this is so you said something there. You said that you don't think these big AI companies, the legal ones, are going to be keep up with like just a Claude and programming it yourself and building that in-house. And these are the uncomfortable parts because we support all these vendors. They're all our friends. These products are good. They work for certain law firms. But this is where I really wanted to pick your brain and kind of you go to a lot of conferences, you support a lot of vendors support Lottie Gras. And so it's hard to pick like a favorite or call out this company or that company or who you use. But that is an interesting, bold statement. I also agree that firms of any size at this point, right, can be leveraging these things. But there are firms out there who just say, I don't know about it yet. I don't believe in like the voice AI for my intake. People still need that human. What's your advice to those people? Or is it just like, well, it's grow or die, and you're just not going to grow
Well,
because
I do believe it is grow or die, but also you cannot lose. We are a customer service industry, and I do think I see it. If you don't think it's an AI intake, it's AI reception, where it weeds out the calls that you're never going to take, or maybe the FBI microchip my neck. Why would I have somebody like wasting time on that call? You still have the ability to see if somebody called and hang it up, and you can have somebody, a human being, call them back and see what's going on, right? That still exists. You could do that. We do that now at our firm. But it's having that recorded intelligence that you can do all these workflows after that you're going to win. Like, why would you not try these things out? Start with an after hours program, right? Like if you're missing calls on the weekend and after hours, why not try something new? And you'd be shocked at how much more people like talking to this than human beings, you know? And it's like, well,
yeah.
I don't want like when I was started my firm as a true solo, I had no resources. I had so much time on the phone with my clients and I needed to do legal work. I needed to do filings. Like I needed to do stuff. And I would have loved to have a product like this.
Hmm. And
Loved.
Claude is your preference? You like Claude of like Perplexity, ChatGPT, all the other things, or
Out of those ones I use Claude, I use it every day. Like I even use it for content. Now here's a cool little hack
right?
that my CEO of AttorneyShare taught me for presentations is drop everything into Claude and then ask it to write essentially a prompt to create the PowerPoint you want. Because it's Claude's not great at creating like those PowerPoints presentations, but it can digest all the information. So I put all my PowerPoints in there and then have them, hey, write a prompt. Essentially, I want you to write a prompt that I'm going to put into this website called Gamma. Gamma is great at doing presentations for Gamma. So you go there, Claude, write a prompt off of what I want to do for my next presentation. Here's my old ones. Here's what I want to talk about. And it literally writes a one prompt, put it into Gamma, and then just watch it create your presentation.
Wow. Yeah.
Wild, wild.
Yeah. Well, and the time that it saves, I know writing a presentation, like getting the content is the hardest part, but then like formatting and all that nonsense, you're paying an admin to do that and it takes some hours. It is incredible all the things that can be fixed here. Claude is one of our favorites too for automating all sorts of things. It's been pretty on point with, like you said, the summarizing and the understanding what you're giving it. Okay, to conferences. There are many. We talked about that there's a saturation of them now. Obviously, Lottie Gras, one of your favorites, but if you had to pick one or two other conferences that lawyers should be attending, what are some of your favorite conferences throughout the year?
Um,
On the spot there.
no, I know.
I'm
It's just
telling all the
texting.
other conferences you said
Seth,
don't go to them.
so Seth Price was just texting me about the one in Spain. So I'm actually in the area of Spain at the time he is. This is really funny. Um, so I like the ones that were put the summer ones you talk about are like the more masterminds, which the more family oriented stuff. So
Hmm.
there's one called the Sintra Summit that's new that I got accepted in, which will be cool. Teaching how to your family to live abroad and use AI systems that run your law firm with AI
Wow,
workshops.
that's very
Um,
cool.
it is very cool. Like I like to go to ones where that are a little different. So next month I'm going to the Supiosphere. I'm just giving you an example. I like to go where you have it's like the vendors conference where you know everybody's using that product, right? So if you know how to use that product, you can help people push forward, learn how to work together. I really like ones like that are just more
Okay.
hyper focused. And then I do
Hmm.
like to go to just the tech ones, like
Yeah.
they're a little bit different.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other ones that I really, really, really like.
You done like the file vine as well. Lex Summit has gotten bigger and bigger, but that's like a one user type conference.
Yeah, I just don't love like their content
ABA
is
Tech
so.
It's still a big
ABA
leap.
Tech Show is great. I just feel find that the one that Filevine puts on is just so salesy. It's not cool. Like I can't do it anymore. I
Okay.
really like ClioCon. I just think they do a really good job. And they're late. I'm going to be there in Boston late October for sure. I'll go to that one. Um, no, I just really like those ones, the smaller ones. Like we put on the Bourbon of Proof tour. We do it as events geared towards this too. And I much rather be, like you said, in a bar or like talking to 15, 20 people. That's where you get stuff done, in my
Mhm.
opinion. You know,
I I think too, I like the ones by the time of the year where they are, where the audience wants to be there. Sometimes when you get into the conference season, people are tired. They're like, oh, I'm not really going to go to these sessions because I am tired, right? But you have some conferences that will be only that one that's the big one that month. And I find that the energy, the networking, the people just wanting to be there, right? It's just a much better experience for everybody, is one of the things that I like to look at as well.
yeah, and like a Law Gras this year, we're October 1st through 4th. So we offer, we do the golf tournament, which everybody comes. Again, everybody brings their family. So this year it's a lot more. We have 7 workshops that are going on at all times, except for we have just main stage only. First time we're doing this, where it's main stage, no competition only from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day. So it's going to be like
Well,
talking with Joe Montana, talking like Andy Roddick just signed in because he worked at a company called ViewFi that's a medical telemedicine company that's doing fascinating things, even outside of law, and they're
yeah.
bringing legal space. So it's that kind of stuff that we're going to be able to do during the day. And then the workshops are going to be like marketing media is one. There's one for AI and tech. There's one for the longevity lab for health and wellness. There's one for business performance. There's one for law firm operations. There's one that Justice HQ is handling, which is a lot of like private equity discussions and those ones. So yeah, it's like that opportunity to give people what they want. And we want and encourage vendors to come in there as industry leaders, not sales. There'd be no salesy stuff. It's just like, here's what I'm experiencing. Like these conversations I have with you, like I would love to have that with a few law firm owners, a few people that are, C-suites within vendor spaces, just to have
Hmm.
that conversation. Um,
Yeah.
and then at night we have, of course, the high
I
level
love the
entertainment.
kids stuff too you're doing, right? Because a lot of times it was California centric. As you got out on the road, more people nationwide learned about it. I've seen that that audience has grown to be more nationwide law firms, but
Yeah.
I do think people are more likely to get on a plane and go to California if they can bring their family when it is a weekend. So that is very cool. I think you might see increase in attendance
I mean,
from
we
that.
had, we
Interesting.
had 1,500 people last year. Like it was a lot. And while we could handle more, I just want more quality. Like when
Mm.
the people told me that the kid stuff they loved the most when their kids were there. People were like, I need, and see people that did bring the kids like, oh, I can't wait to bring my family next time. This is great. And,
Mhm.
um,
I've seen people bring the kids to the concerts too, even years ago, right? They would bring them to the night concert.
they were on stage with Flo
Yeah,
Rida before, he had the
yeah,
kids on stage, which was cool.
yeah. No, absolutely. So as our time kind of winds down here, I think there was one other thing you said that I wanted to echo, and I always say this. If I ever kind of one day I'm going to write a book about all the conference adventures, so like a small playbook of if you're a lawyer going to a conference for the first time, what are you doing, right? Like, what does the atmosphere look like? How do you get ROI out of it? But my thing I've always said is if you're new to a conference, you're going to a conference for the first time, and you are avoiding the vendors, it is a huge mistake,
Huge mistake.
especially if you can sniff out the vendors that are people who are part of the world, who have been to these things many times. I guarantee you they know more law firms and can introduce you meaningfully than you trying to navigate and go say hi to someone at breakfast, right? They know the space. They can help you. They can be connectors. It is a huge value add to actually have a conversation with a vendor. And obviously, there's some that are, snake oil and they're there just to sell. But when you get to know the people who are there to help you, they're there to help you and to actually connect you with other law firms. I always say that's like a biggest mistake you could make at a conference going in there as a newbie is ignoring the vendors or the
Yeah,
partners.
your
Yeah,
vendors are your partners and they help promote you. They help put you in connections. And I get a lot of business from vendors and people just they lose sight of that.
100%.
It's silly. And yeah, nobody likes the aggressive sales tactics of any vendor anyway. But like the best ones don't do that, you know?
And so we've talked about Justice HQ, kind of that community you built. It evolved. It's got so much going on now. It's very digital. It's inclusive of everybody. You've got the mobile app, and you had even mentioned, it's not $1,500 anymore to be on the app. It's $20 a month, or like with the
Yep.
premium a little bit more, maybe $80 a
That's
month,
it.
whatever that is.
That's it. Yep.
Um,
And yeah, I know we said we would drop the Mardi Gras headliners, I can
yes.
tell you.
Yes. And so conference wise, you said that we would get an exclusive where we'd hear who is going to be there, which is always a fun announcement every year. People look forward to this.
And sometimes we don't tell anybody. Like I remember we did Nick Carter, the Backstreet Boys, and CeeLo Green. We didn't even
Yeah, I think
tell.
I had to, I like people were whispering and they were like, maybe it's this person. We saw a bus. We maybe saw this human. Yeah, it gets all exciting.
And
All
it
right.
takes a while for me to go and book this talent, talk to their managers, put together the show. So I like to
Yeah.
put together like a whole well-rounded fun show. So this year, I'll give you the Saturday night one we pretty much have locked down, and I try to go across every genre of music. So on Friday, we start with the DJ warm-up set, but it's like a 4-hour show. So we start
Wow.
with we have a live band that will stay on there for I think for 2 hours. And that live band will do all kind of really good cover songs, but we have first one to come on I think is Tone Loc, and Tone Loc will do like Funky Cool Medina, Wild Thing, some of those throwbacks.
Okay.
And then some of the guys from NSYNC are going to come on after that. We're going to hear some of the boy band pop stuff for a while.
What? Okay.
And then we have two people we're bringing back Josh Vietti, the hip hop violinist, because he's so good. And we also brought in a rock and roll gal named Allie the Piper that does it on bagpipes, and she rocks. If you go look at Allie
It's
the
awesome.
Piper, she's coming in. So they're going to do some really cool stuff after that part. And then DJ Z Trip is one of the most more fun DJs, but he's coming on to do a set at the tail end of that with Flava Flav, and he's the last one we have to finish the contract with. But I mean, it's so we wanted to go from every genre of music. If we
It's
have
a
hard rock,
festival.
it's a
It's become,
festival.
yeah, the way that you've year over year kind of expanded that into a show versus, one headliner and one opener is becoming more of that
Yeah.
Mardi Gras feel, right? Of like you're trying to make this a festival feel.
And it's like we have, and I'm already talking about next year, like we wanted to get some of the guys who Rage Against the Machine. So we got like Tom Morello had a conflict, but he wants to be able to do it with what's his name? He was also a Public Enemy, but they formed a band after that. I mean, just to be able to pull back some of all those things. Like I like to go from, have something for everybody, right?
Yeah,
So it's just the stuff we
yeah,
want to hear, you know, and
yeah.
and I'm
And
trying
the
to see.
atmosphere, I think there's people in that audience that are like, oh, I'm not necessarily a pop like boy band person, but once you're in that atmosphere and everyone's having fun, it's no one's leaving, right? It's
No,
everybody's
it's
having fun and
outdoors, the
enjoying the
weather's
show.
awesome, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to see this year if some of those artists can come and be in either some of those workshops, which would be awesome. Like last year we had
Oh yeah.
Alex Smith, the NFL quarterback, came into one of the workshops, and it
I
was
saw that.
really
That was
cool.
crazy.
It was crazy.
Just knew him. What?
I mean, like but between my wife and I, we just know a lot of random people. I mean, just where our lives touch. Like,
Crazy.
she's some of her high level people that everybody know, friends, are like, I'd come to that. Like,
Yeah.
really? Okay.
Well, and on that note, right, you were gracious enough to offer for this webinar 2 free tickets to this conference that we've been talking about. So that's quite a value. I know we send people there and it's a great 3, 4 days, bring your family, all this fun stuff. But 2 free tickets will go to someone who's registered and attended the webinar. We'll be choosing that person and notifying them after. And then you have also offered, as we talked about, AttorneyShare, one of those platforms that can help you set yourself up for success with these, buy, sell law firms, all that big consolidation going on in the world here. 2 months of unlimited cases, which is a $2,000 value, also being given to one lucky winner. These are awesome prizes. I don't know if people will have questions about this, but we'll choose them based on our registration list here and who attended, and then we'll send them out as soon as possible. But those are amazing giveaways. We don't always have
Yeah,
things
and when
like
people are looking for like Mardi Gras, it's a multi-day CLE slash festival at night, and the tickets are all inclusive. So it's like you get all the food trucks, all the food, all the alcohol, all the regular soft drinks at night and during the day, right? So it's not even that, like our tickets are only $1,500. It's like you're getting high level concerts, CLEs, all your food, all the beverages, and our sponsors have the ability to bring the cost down for that. But I mean, it's a
And we haven't
huge
talked
event.
about the where. We haven't talked about the where, but you guys are still renting out the whole resort. So everyone who's at this resort is absolutely legal there for the conference, which I think is really cool. You're not sitting at breakfast and you're like, I don't know if those people are here for this or not. It's everyone's there together. That's one of the coolest things I did love about Mardi Gras, and would look for. It'd be
Well,
great if other
well,
conferences
that's
like
and
that.
it's like one of those. It's a destination event, so it's like sometimes you go to other places in bigger cities where there's different things happening all around town, right? Like you're in Vegas, the conference is here, but I was doing these different dinners, and it's all, you know, every single person that's there, the 1,000 people, whatever, that are at the hotel, they're all with the event. So, and they're not going anywhere, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's the best place for people. Tell me so many times they've closed so many big deals and made so many big relationships. A lot of girls, thank you. That's why we did this.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So we'll get these things out. I think we talked a lot about what's going on in the industry, some really hot tips there for family travel, work-life integration. Touched on a lot of stuff here. Was there anything else that you'd want to leave the audience with today?
I
Tips,
think the big thing
thoughts?
is define your why. We've talked about this and then work backwards. And I think if you don't prioritize where you want to be in life and set goals to be able to do that, then you're kind of just shooting in the dark. Find your mentorship circles, and a lot of people have been there, done that, and I think that's the most important thing. Define your happiness and work backwards.
And once you're there and you know what you want, making sure to dot your I's and cross your T's before you walk into something, no matter what it is, right? Because you
Get
want
papered up.
the value.
Get papered up.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. And we will go ahead and close out here. We'll be in touch
Bye.
for that. Bye.